Hello folks, I've decided to do a couple of videos on EMF radiation and toxicity because it's getting to be out of hand. It's getting out of hand and it's poisoning us and it's given us some serious health issues. So this is part one. So let's have a look at see what's going on with EMF radiation. Now, wireless technology is a big issue. It's convenient. Yes, it may help us with our business, but it's killing us. Bottom line. I've had a look at so many researchers, and this is the work of quite a few researchers here. They say every wireless device, without exception, is transmitting EMF. Every wireless device. By substituting radiation for wires, we are swimming in an ocean of artificial electromagnetic field. This is interfering with life itself. We are electrocuting ourselves, our pets, our kids, our plants, our soil, and all of our living creation. We are killing our planet. Whether it's purposely or not purposely, consciously or not consciously, these are the facts the researchers are giving us. The effect can be rapid, not slow as we often think. We often think, oh, it's going to take 20, 30, 40 years that we get cancer out of this. But no, this is affecting us almost immediately. Serious stuff. The good news is there's solutions, but there's many solutions that aren't working, which I'll discuss later on. But here's the immediate effects of EMF. Heart rate changes immediately. Okay, immediately. So our heart rate is never the same, our brain's never the same, our blood sugar rises in minutes, interferes with your sleep, your memory, they're never the same. Using a mobile phone destroys brain cells within minutes to hours. So this is not a month, it doesn't take a month or a year, it takes minutes. It can cause stroke or heart attack. Studies have shown that cancer can develop in months after first exposure. Months. Now with diet and lifestyle, it can take 20, 30, 40 years. Or even chemicals, it can take 10, 20, 30 years to build up cancer. But with these EMFs of today, it can take months. So this is a serious factor. After first exposure. When a cell tower is turned on, birds leave the area. You notice that? Bees leave the area immediately. They don't hang around. They know that these are toxic. Insects disappear. So the good insects in your garden, if you wondered why the insects aren't around in your garden, the good ones, then it's EMF. Most of this takes no time at all. They're not going to hang around because they know better. What type of frequencies are used? There's hundreds of different types of frequencies. You've got radio waves, you've got microwaves, you've got in home devices, you've got visible light, you've got lasers, infrared radiation, sound waves, nuclear radiation. It's all radiation. As a matter of fact, they found 90% of fish is radiated. 90%. And a large percentage of the ocean is radiated. Excuse me. We've had a lot of chemtrails up in the sky the last few days, and so that's what this is. Cell phone radiation is billions of times stronger than natural radiation from the sun and stars. It's the pulsation and modulation that causes the harm. So the pulsing. Natural frequency contains millions of scalar frequencies in harmony with your cells. That's what we need. Untampered with, unmodulated, nonplussed or non-pulsed. That's a typo. So we don't want the pulses. So there is a natural frequency in our environment. If we can restore that, then your body can start healing. EMF is worse than chemicals because they cause serious damage much quicker than chemistry. Now this is interesting because I've been dealing with chemical toxicity for the last 30 years in my clinic, and I've seen a lot of people poisoned with either farm chemicals, home cleaning products, skin care, makeups, etc. All these chemicals are killing people, but it's with EMFs, it's much quicker. So we need to have a solution for this, otherwise we're going to die off a lot quicker. Now, cell phone EMF can travel thousands of miles. It will reach cell towers 90 miles away, or a satellite 22,000 miles away. So you can see cell phone EMF travels. How else do you think that we can call any part of the world, because EMFs travel? So if you've got a cell phone, well, we've all got a cell phone, unfortunately. So if we haven't got protection, it's going to affect you no matter what. 2-hour exposure to mobile phones can lead to permanent brain damage. And some people are on the phone all day without protection. Brain tissue has no pain receptor, so you don't know when your brain is inflamed because it's got no pain receptor. We can have plenty of brain damage without pain. This can lead to all mental, emotional and spiritual issues. Also slows metabolism, leading to all digestive diseases, including weight loss or weight gain or obesity. It's not how much EMF, but what information your DNA is receiving from the fake frequency. This is important because a lot of these devices, they're trying to block the EMF, right? And someone puts a meter on them and they go, oh wow, the meter is registering lower EMF. Unfortunately, that's got nothing to do with it. So the idea is that you have, you've got a cell, and I'll explain that a bit more later. You've got the DNA right in the centre, and that DNA is receiving right or wrong information, depends what environment you put your body in and what you're eating, watching, listening to, etc. That's giving EMF, or that's giving information to your cells. So the proper protection, which would be Blue Shield, would be the only one that does the job. It's giving the right signals to your DNA from the natural frequencies of nature, where the other protections that we buy, unfortunately I've had to throw out most of them because they're not giving the right information. They're still actually doing harm because they're just, all they're doing is trying to block the EMF. but they're not blocking the information the EMF is giving to your cells. More about that as I go along in part 2 as well. But even when a cell phone is turned off, it is emitting radiation unless you take the battery out. Every call you make from a location where there is no towers, it's actually recorded a request for a tower to be installed. These are tracking devices. Resource, Arthur Furstenberg, researcher. Okay, so we get on to 4 and 5G, which is 60 gigahertz. This is very destructive, the 60 gigahertz. 4G actually penetrates buildings. So people say, oh, 5G is the bad one, 4G doesn't do any harm. Well, 4G penetrates buildings. So it's pretty bad. 5G penetrates the cells in the DNA, causing infertility, DNA damage, cancer. Single scalar waves is causing the damage from the 4G and 5G. The single scalar waves. Now there's millions of scalar waves, as in nature gives the body a chance to heal itself. So this is what we want. In a solution, we want the millions of scalar waves as it was in nature to protect our body so that the information from the 5G EMF is not going into our DNA. So when you have a blue shield, the information from the 60 gigahertz cannot get into your DNA. You know, there's years and years of research done on this. So normally body reacts to EMF like it reacts to a virus, bacteria, microbes, etc. It's working harder, causing inflammation. So your body's working harder, trying to normalise itself, trying to deal with this foreign frequency from EMFs. When you have harmonic devices plugged in, or like Blue Shield, in the body responds to the frequency so it can now heal itself. That's important because when you don't have protection with the right devices, the body has to try and defend itself against the EMF, so it's working harder. But when you have the right frequency plugged in device, then the body doesn't have to concentrate on that foreign EMF, can concentrate on what it's supposed to do, on what it does best, and that's heal the body. Brilliant technology. Well, I mean, our Creator is brilliant because that's the technology he has in nature, but man has poisoned himself, or whoever's doing this, and giving us the wrong information for DNA from the EMFs. So EMF info can get through actually 6 feet of concrete. If you bury your phone, in 6 feet of concrete, you'll actually still get some EMF toxicity. What about mitosis and EMF? This is sound frequency. Our cell division every 4 months, 120 days, you have cell division, which is called mitosis. Now, if we're bathed in EMF toxicity and our cells are dividing every 4 months, what's the message getting to the DNA, and the DNA giving the message to the mRNA to make new cells or new proteins? So that message is going to be faulty. So every time the cells divide, it will be a faulty message. So the cells don't build as good as they're supposed to because of that EMF. This is sound frequency. So when we get the right sound frequency, as specific essential oils have good sound frequency, and music notes are vital to help mitosis, but the blue shield as well gives the right scalar energy, millions of different frequencies as in nature. So therefore it's giving the right information when the cells are divided. Very important. And I'll show you some pictures later of my cells and I'm supposed to be healthy, how they were before and how they were after the blue shield. And like I said, I've tried tons of products or tons of devices. So mitosis, very important. Now, pulse electromagnetic frequency devices are single devices and can be damaging to the cells. They're too harsh. When they're pulsing, it's working like a hammer. It's actually not protecting you. Like I said, there's thousands of devices out there and they're thinking they're doing the right thing. Only blue shield technology with millions of frequencies changes environment so that the body can normalise itself, so it has these positive effects. It's 93% effective compared to 30 to 50% effective of other devices. Body needs to adjust to new normal. So you might not, some people don't feel anything when they plug this thing in, the blue shield. Some people don't feel anything. They go, this is not working. Well, it is. Your body is just adjusting to the new normal. I know when we plugged it in, the first 2 weeks, my wife and I had headaches. We were really tired, and I can't believe the first day or the second day, I had to go and have a lay down in the afternoon. I have never laid down in the afternoon for 20 years. So it was working, and then I took my blood, or both our bloods, before and after, and it's working. So, but not everyone notices a difference. So this may get a detox effect like headaches, tiredness for 1 to 2 days, sometimes 1 or 2 weeks. Scientists are saying 5G is actually madness and irresponsible because they haven't done safety tests on these. So Barry Trower, he's a researcher, he was actually in the army and he used to use microwave warfare as a weapon. So these are serious weapons. These are weapons of mass destruction. And, you wonder, you think, governments are talking about weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East. Well, here it is right here. Microwave, in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, they microwave Catholics, the Protestants and Catholics. Now, I'm not saying Catholics are innocent, by no means are they, because they had their own weapons of warfare. They destroyed a lot of Christians and they've destroyed a lot of Protestants. But the Protestants used microwaves in the Northern Ireland War. So it's a subtle weapon, Barry says. It's a transmitter. It's a transmitter. So we become transmitters. Now, there's been a lot of research done on cot deaths. Now, cot deaths are related to these in the old days. So not this inoculation, but the ones in the past, there was a lot of cot deaths. But now they're seeing a lot more because of the EMFs. They can't work out what it is, but here it is. Now, you got 400,000 eggs in ovaries are very susceptible to EMFs. 400,000 eggs. A child is damaged before they're born. Serious. 62% of males are affected by infertility because of these EMFs. So you've got Wi-Fi in schools, workplaces, homes, worldwide mitochondrial DNA damage. You know what the mitochondria is? Mitochondria is almost as important as the DNA. The mitochondria is a little factory inside the cell that makes or manufactures glutathione, redox molecules, ATP. That's where our energy is. A lot of people today are running on adrenaline. Wrong type of energy. EMFs will increase cortisol and adrenaline also. So we want to, sorry about the finger, but we want to make ATP. So we need ATP, redox molecules, and glutathione. Three of the most important chemicals that our body can make. And they're not being made because EMF is destroying the mitochondria. This is serious, folks. So future generations are damaged before we have babies. Multiple EMFs can cause mental and emotional issues, anger, depression, frustration, headaches, suicide. Suicides are increasing since this pandemic as well. Is there a link? Stay tuned to part 2. EMFs are accumulative, so they accumulate. If you don't get rid of them, they're not going to go away. They accumulate, they build up in the body. When cell is open or damaged, intracellular calcium increases, potassium and sodium escapes. Okay, so we need potassium and sodium in the cells, but EMFs cause not only adrenaline and cortisol to go up, but calcium increases inside the cell, and that is not good. You don't want calcium in the cell. As a result, superoxide and nitric oxide are out of balance. Once your chemistry's out of balance, oh man, the body's just confused. They interact producing oxidation. Oxidation long term will cause cancer. Same as autism. Autism synapse, the synapse, the little space between the two neurons or nerve cells or brain cells are damaged, as in oxidation. So autism increases. So as in autism, synapse is damaged, all chemicals are imbalanced. You don't want imbalanced chemicals in your system. Intracellular calcium has a major effect on autism. Dr. Martin Pall. Now, you know, a lot of these things you can look them up in PubMed. Dr. Martin Pall, he's got some articles in PubMed. He said there's no safety tests done on EMFs. Incredibly stupid, he says. Very dangerous, and it's lunacy. No safety test done. No biological safety test. Highly questionable form from a moral code and a Nuremberg code where it says do not harm the population. We need to look after the population, not harm them. Scientists are very concerned. You got millimetre waves easily absorbed into the electrical system of the body. So that becomes deeper and more severe. The electrical system of the body is, well, the neurons. The neurons are sending messages. Well, the neurotransmitters are sending messages through the neurons. And that's electrical. Well, it starts chemical, but it turns into electrical. So we're electrical creatures. And when we haven't got any negative charge in our cells, I see it all the time on blood cells, the cells clump together. When you have enough oxygen and electricity, the cells separate and then they can move around. Okay? When you've got no electricity and no oxygen, or very little, it's a clot waiting to happen. Does that ring a bell? Graphene. So it's a deeper and more severe effect here when it attacks the electrical system. So there's no protection from the governments. They don't bother. They're just saying, oh, let's get you let's get you faster coverage. Man, 5G cancer is much more active now. Brain function severely affected. Effects on water, soil, plants, food, humans, animals. It affects everything. Now, here's our blood cells, my wife's and myself. Now, we're supposed to be healthy, but we're still getting poisoned by this 4G and 5G plus the shedding. My wife works with those who have been, if you know what I mean, and her cells never looked like that a year ago. They never looked like that. And my cells have always looked pretty good. But they've upped the EMF in the chemtrails and whatever, and that's our cells before we plugged in the Blue Shield protection. Okay? Doesn't look great, does it? Okay, this is 2 weeks after we plugged in the EMF Blue Shield protection. Look at it. Beautiful, round, not perfect, but beautiful, round, nice cells, separated, moving around. The electricity and the oxygen is back in, and I see a white blood cell. There's a neutrophil right there. So this is looking great. This is just my first test, 2 weeks after I plugged the Blue Shield in. Okay, so this is part 1. We haven't completed part 2 yet, but it's coming along. Part 2 will be here soon. If you got any questions, please contact me on Tony, Tony, at Lifestream Health, LIFESTREAM Health, HEALTH.net.au. Okay, drop me a line or message me in Messenger. And keep your eye out for part 2. And thank you for listening. And please keep protected.